the industrial development. Basically what happened, we already looked about that agriculture sector, green revolution was brought in the agriculture sector, plus subsidies was given to small farmers, plus HYV seeds, all this thing. But now what was the main focus? We have different sector: agriculture sector, industrial sector, and first like occupation structure and all that, right? Service sector. So 5-year plan places a lot of emphasis on the industrial development. Okay, you already know at the time of independence, the variety of industries was very low, largely commonly to cotton, textile, and jute. So basically, when we got independence, at that moment we had only few modern industries like the cotton industries and the jute textile industry. There were two well-managed iron and steel firms. One is Jamshedpur and other one is in Kolkata. But obviously, we need to expand the industrial base with the variety of industries in the economy was to grow. So if you want to grow, you know that there were few modern industry, right? Cotton industry, cotton textile, jute textile, plus the iron and steel industries. But we need to focus more on that, right? So the 5-year plan places a lot of emphasis on industrial development because of the following reasons. Okay. First, economists have found that poor nations can progress only if they have a good industrial sector. So basically, the economists who were looking in the problem, they got to know that if you want to grow your country, right, you need to focus more on the industrial sector. So that's why they focus more on industrial sector. Second, industries policies provides employment which is more stable than the employment in the agriculture. The people, for example, you are growing crops, it's a seasonal crop. So for example, if you are growing summer crop, the people will they will get employment in summer season. But what about winter season? What they will do in the winter season? So therefore, industry provide employment which is more stable. Stable means that is fixed. 12 months itself you will get the employment. Then the employment in agriculture sector. Okay. Next, it promote modernization and overall prosperity. Prosperity is basically the richness. So if you will focus more on industry, you will manufacture things, then you will sell it, you will get more money, you will be rich and you will become rich and rich. Okay. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so everyone, today you will be very quick in writing. Okay, so first of all, you will give a heading, industry and trade. Okay. And then you will write hashtag why 5-year plan places a lot of emphasis on industrial development. And the question mark. Once you're done with the question, let me know. Be very, very, very quick, because we have to cover lots of things.
Done, ma'am.
Done.
Others done?
Done, ma'am.
Now, you'll just quickly write following other reason. Just write following other reason. Okay. First, economists have found that poor nations can progress only if there is a good industrial sector. Second, industry provide employment, which is more stable than the employment in agriculture. Third, if you want to promote modernization and overall prosperity, you need to focus more on the industrial sector.
Done, ma'am.
Others done?
Done, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, done.
Okay. Okay. Now, basically, the next thing, public sector was given a leading role in the industrial development. Okay. Now, ma'am, why public sector was given? You know, there are two sectors. One is public sector, which is basically, and one is private sector. Sorry, public sector and the private sector, right? So basically, what was happening? Public is basically the government one, and private is basically the one which is, owned by the individuals, like the big businessman and all that. Okay, so which sector was given? Public sector was given a leading role in the industrial. The big question facing the policy maker was what should be the role of government and the private sector in the industrial development. So basically, we have two people. One is government and one is private. And you already know this, when India got independence, it had two options: either to follow capitalism, which is basically private sector, and other one was socialism, which is government sector. But India chose to go for the mixed economy, right? So in mixed economy, you will be giving role to public as well as the private sector, like the government as well as the private sector. Now the question was, what role should be given to government, what role should be given to the private sector? Okay, so what happened? Basically, the public sector was given a leading role in industrial development. The policy of private sector would have to be complementary to those of the public sector, with the public sector leading the way. So basically, they were confused for which sector they should give which task. So somehow then they decided that public sector is going to be the leader of the industrial development. Though it gave tasks to the private sector as well, but the leading role was given to the public sector. Okay, so now the question is why? Okay, because in economy, with every statement you get a question why, right? So public sector was given a leading role in industrial development in India because of the following reasons. First, at the time of independence, Indian industrialists did not have the capital to undertake invest in sorry, Indian industrialists did not have the capital to undertake investment in industrial venture required for the development of the economy. So what happens basically? India was very poor country, right? So basically, the people who were here, the businessmen and all that, even the industries, they didn't have any resource or any in like any investment or something like that, right? So they need capital for that. So only government, see, government can ask for investment because government is rich somewhere as compared to normal people. So that's why at the time of independence, Indian industrialists, all the industrial, they did not have the capital to undertake investment. So they don't have any capital to take investment in industrial venture or industrial sector. Okay, and required for the development of the country. So whatever investment was required, they were not. If you want to start industry, you need investment, right? Only then you can start the industry. So basically, the private sector people, they didn't have any. The industrialists, they didn't have any capital to invest. So that's why this authority was given to the public sector, the government. Okay. Second, the market was not big enough to encourage industrialists to undertake major product even if they had the capital to do. Basically, there were few people who had capital, right? But the market was not big enough to encourage industrialists to undertake major products. So market means the people who will be purchasing the product. For example, you establish this industry. Now, once you produce something, you need a market where people will be purchasing, like you need the customers. But for example, somewhere I invested, but nobody will purchase my product, then I will be in loss, right? And as a private industrialist, my main motive is to earn profit, right? But in case if I am nobody is purchasing my product, then how I will get profit, right? So that was the second reason. Because of this also, like the people who were able to do investment, still they didn't did investment. Why? Because they didn't have a good market or the people who will be purchasing their product. Okay. Next, in addition, the decision to develop Indian economy on socialist line led to the policy of state controlling the commanding height of the economy. This meant that government would have complete control of those industries that are vital for an economy. So basically, now as you know that right now the things were not under control, everything was falling apart, right? So for example, if government will start industries, so government will start those industries that will be helping in social welfare, right? But if private sector will start the industry, they will be starting the sector, they will be starting the industries that will be giving them benefit. Maybe they can start the alcohol industry, right? So that also, that government would have complete control on those industries that are vital for the economy. Is it clear, the 3 points?
Yes, ma'am.
Others?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now you are not going to write everything. I'll just tell you what you are going to write. First, you will write, at the time of independence, Indian industrialists did not have capital to undertake the investment, okay, for the development of our economy. Okay. Second, the market was not big enough to encourage industrialists to undertake major product even if they have the capital. Okay, so the market was not big. The people who had capital to invest, even they were not ready to invest because there was no market. Next, the decision to develop Indian economy on socialist line led to the policy of state controlling the commanding height of the economy. This meant that government would have complete control on those industries that were. So basically, what you will write, uh, the decision to develop Indian economy on socialist line led to the policy that the government would that the government mm, 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 that the government will establish those industries that were vital for the economy. That the government will establish those industries that are vital for an economy, or vital means important. Okay. So first point you are going to write. First you will write why. You'll write why the public sector was given a leading role in industrial development in India. Okay. Question will be why the public sector was given a leading role, and the answer will be because from here. First, at the time of independence, Indian industries did not have capital to undertake investment for the development of the economy. Okay. Or you can write, just simply write like this, in industrial sector. Okay, just a minute. Investment in industrial sectors. Industrial sectors. Okay. Second, the market was not big enough to encourage industrialists to undertake major product even if they had the capital to do so. Third, the decision to develop the Indian economy on socialist line led to the policy of the state controlling led to the policy that the government. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Others, I hope it's clear what you have to write. You can ask me again. Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, others done? Girls? No? Okay, I'll just wait for one more minute. Okay, I hope done. Heba, Khushi done? Mariam is done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Done.
ma'am. Done.
Now, next thing is, of course, if you want to improve the industrial sector, you need to bring some policies, right? So very first policy was Industrial Policy Resolution, which was in 1956, which is known as IPR, basically Industrial Policy Resolution. Okay. So in accordance with the goal of the state controlling the commanding height of the economy. So basically, who was controlling the state? State means the government. Okay, state doesn't mean the entire state, Andhra Pradesh, Madhya Pradesh, Telangana. No, state means government. Okay, so state was controlling the commanding height of the economy. The Industrial Policy Resolution 1956 was adopted. This resolution formed the basic of the second five-year plan, the plan which tried to build the basic for the socialist pattern of the society. So what was like this? What this policy brought? Okay, the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956 classified industries into three categories. So there were three types of industries. First, the first category comprised industries which will be exclusively owned by the state. State here means, in bracket you will be writing, state means government. State doesn't mean any particular state like the Telangana, Tamil Nadu, no, Kerala not. Okay, it's basically the government. Okay. Second, the second category industries in which the private sector could supplement the efforts to the state sector. State means government sector. You can write government sector as well. Which the state taking a sole responsibility for starting new units. The third category consisted of remaining industries which were to be in the private sector. Okay. Now, ma'am, how we will make notes? You are not going to write everything. First of all, you will write. First of all, I hope you people are clear with the three category. First category, the industries which will be only governed by the government. Second, it will be governed by government, but somewhere private sector will also helping. Third sector, the remaining will only owned by the private sector. So basically three types of industries were there. First, only owned by government. Second, both government and private sector. Third, only by private sector. Okay. So first of all, you'll write hashtag Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Then you'll write classification of industries under the Industrial Policy Resolution 1956. Okay. Then you'll write the first like this. You'll write. Okay, I'll just I don't have space. Okay, you'll write first category only government. Second category government and private. Third category only this. So first category you'll write owned by the government. Second category owned private sector could supplements the efforts of government sector. Okay. Third category only owned by the private sector. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Others, I hope how you have to make
Yes,
notes.
ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
I hope everyone is done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So today you people are very quick. We need to cover lots of syllabus, so that's why I was asking you people to be quick. Okay. Now, why and how was private sector regulated? So, of course, you know who is regulating. Three categories. Somewhere only government, somewhere private, somewhere both government and private, right? So, how? So, although there was a category of industries left to the private sector, the private sector was kept under the state control through the state of licensing. Okay. Now, this was very, see, the question is why and how was private sector regulated under this? Though I told you there was three categories. First, the state, second, the private state, and third, the private. But somewhere, private sector was regulated, like government was controlling private sector as well. So how? So basically, there was a system of license. License, for example, you people, I hope you all are aware of license. For example, you have two-wheelers. You people, boys will be, maybe you people ride bike or girls scooty. You need license for that. The permission. License is basically the permission, right? If you have license, you can ride that scooty and bike, whatever you ride. But if you don't have license, that means you are not authorized or you don't have that authority to ride. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So yes. So how government was regulating private sector through the system of license. Okay. So basically, no new industry was allowed unless a license was obtained from government. This policy was used to promote industry in the backward region. It was easier to obtain license in the industrial unit was established in an economic backward area. In addition, such units were given certain concessions such as tax benefit and the electricity and the lower tariff. Thus, the purpose of policy was to promote regional equality. Okay. Now, ma'am, what happened basically? See, first, that licensing was there. So until and unless you don't take license from government sector, you cannot establish any industry. Okay. So this was the first thing. And second, the policy was used to promote industry in the backward region. So basically what happened, for example, this is urban area. Urban area means the city area, and this is rural area. Okay. So if you are establishing the industry here, so of course you have to take license, you have to, pay electricity bill, everything was very, highly priced. But if you are establishing industry in a rural area, then you will have like cheap rent, okay, cheap electricity, right? So basically there was tax beneficial as well, like you don't have to pay much tax. So what was happening basically, if you people are the industrialists, so where you will establish industry, in urban area or rural area?
Ma'am, bro.
Rural area. Why? Because you are getting lots of benefit, like you are getting tax benefit, you are getting electricity at lower tariff. Plus, why this was the policy of okay, just a minute. This is very important, so I want to explain you people in a good way. Okay. Now, basically, in policy, the question is how government is controlling the private sector. Okay. So first is basically government did the licensing. Okay, that you have to, if you want to establish the industry, you have to take license from the government sector. Okay. Now there are two areas. One is urban, one is rural. Okay, urban area and rural area. So urban area basically, for example, if you will establish an industry here, you have to pay 100 rupees tax. Okay. Plus you have to pay tax, plus you have to pay 200 rupees electricity bill. Okay, plus various documentation and all that. Okay, and similarly, if you will establish an industry in a rural area, then you have to pay 20 rupees tax and only 100 rupees electricity bill. Okay, so of course, if I am the person who is going to establish the industry, I will choose the rural area. Why? Because of course, in 120 only, everything will be sorted out, but here I have to pay 300 rupees. So as an industrialist, I will be constructing my industry over here. Okay. Now, ma'am, why government did this, right? Why government did like cheaper prices over rural area and not in urban area? So basically, see, if I will establish industry here, of course I need people, right? So I'll be taking people from rural areas. So basically, it will generate employment in rural area, right? So this was the policy of government, that if it will, reduce the prices and all that, so somewhere industrialists will be making or constructing their industry in the rural area, and somewhere it will help the poor people, like they'll get the material directly from the industries, plus people will get the employment, like they can directly work, because of course industry need people who will be working. So if they, that will create employment status, that will generate employment in rural area. That's why government made this policy. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Others?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So basically, why, how government was controlling them? Through the process of licensing. No new industry was allowed unless license was obtained from the government. And this policy was used to promote industry in the backward region. Backward region means basically the rural areas. Okay. It was easier to obtain a license if the industry unit was established in economically backward area. So basically, you need license. So for example, if you are establishing your industry in urban area, you have to do lot of document verification and all that. But if you're establishing your industry in rural area, you'll easily get the license. Okay. So if the industrial unit was established in the economic backward area or the rural area, plus in addition to such units, certain concession, basically relaxation, such as tax benefit, electricity at lower tariff. Thus, the purpose of the policy was to promote regional equality, right? Because urban areas are already developed, but in order to develop our rural areas, we need employment and investors over there. So that's why this policy of licensing was adopted by the government. Now, either they'll be asking you direct question that how government was controlling the people, private sector, or they will be asking why licensing system was introduced by government. So you know that licensing policy was introduced just to promote industry in the backward area, and why, to obtain like it was easy to obtain license in the backward area, plus some other benefit as well, like the tax benefit and all that was given, so that they can promote equity. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this was the first point, like how government was taking control through the policy of licensing. Okay, second, even an existing industry had to obtain license for expanding output. Second, see, licensing. Second point is, for example, you had already taken for example, this is your shop. Okay, this is your industry, but now you want to expand it. Like the area was this, now you want to expand it like this. You also need the license to expand your product or expand your production. Okay. Third, it was meant that to ensure the quantity of the good produced was not more than what the economy required. License to expand production was given only if the government was convinced that the economy required larger quantity of good. For example, I have the shop, wine shop. Okay. So this is my wine shop. Now I want to expand it like this. So I need a license. I'll go to government and I'll say I need a license to expand my wine shop. So of course government will reject it. Why? Because in an economy there is no need to expand such product, right? So government will reject it. But for example, I have the cloth shop and now I want to expand it. I'll go to the government and I'll say that I want to expand my industry. So yeah, government will approve it. Why? Because of course clothes are the need of the economy. People need clothes, right? So why the existing, why you can get the question like this as well, why existing industry need to obtain license for expanding output? So why? This was meant to ensure that the quantity of good produced was not more than what economy required. License to expand production was given. See, license will be given if you want to expand your production only if government was convinced that the economy required a larger quantity of that good. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Others?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now basically what you will write why and how was private sector regulated under IPR this. Okay. Then you will write answer through a system of license. Okay. And then you'll write first point. No new industries for sources was obtained. Okay, this point. Then this policy was used to promote this. Everything you'll write because you'll be getting questions from this. The examiner can frame out any question. So that's why your material should be with you. Okay. So question will be why and how private sector regulated under this. So you'll write the answer through a system of license. Then first point, the entire point you're going to mention, and the second point. These are the 2 points. Okay, that in order to establish new industry, you need license. Plus, if you want to expand the current industry, then also you need the license. Write it down and then let me know. I'll just scroll it down.
I'm done. Could you please scroll down?
Others done?
Yes, ma'am. Done.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I hope everyone is done. So I'll just. But like it's written like this, the second point you'll write, and after that, just give it a gap. Okay, so that you get to know that questions can be framed out from here itself. Okay, you can underline it like this.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. I hope everyone is done, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, basically, we are talking about industries, right? So now there was small scale industry. So, ma'am, first of all, what is small scale industry, right? So basically, what is small scale industry? A small scale industry is defined with the reference of maximum investment. You have to remember this figure, okay? Only then you can define. For example, these are two industries. On the basis of the amount they are investing, you will categorize that this is a small scale industry, this is a large scale industry, okay? So, a small scale industry is defined with reference to maximum investment allowed on the asset of the unit. The limit has changed over a period of time. In 1950, the small scale industry unit was one which invests minimum of 5 lakh. At present, the maximum investment is 1 crore. Okay, clear? So basically, you will write what is small scale industry. A small scale industry is basically refers like how much maximum investment you are doing. So if you are doing at that time, like when this policy was included, at that time the maximum investment was 5 lakh rupees. But now currently it is 1 crore rupees. Clear? So you are not going to write any fancy definition for it. Okay. So you're just simply going to write a small scale industry. Okay, a small scale industry unit was one which invested a minimum of 5 lakh rupees. Okay, just write from here. In 1950, a small scale industry unit was one which invested a maximum of 5 lakh rupees, while the present the maximum investment allows is 1 crore. Clear? So if you are, for example, if you want to start an industry, you need some investment. If you are minimum it can be anything. But if you are investing maximum 5 lakh rupees, at that time it was known as small scale. But for example, if you are investing 6 lakh rupees, so it will be large scale industry. I'm talking about at that time. But right now it is 1 crore rupees. So if you are investing 1.5 crore rupees, then it is large scale industry. But if you are like, for example, doing 70 lakh rupees investment, so it will come under small scale industry. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. So you will write small scale industry and then you will write this. You're not going to write any heading. Just write small scale industry and write in 50 this, and currently it is 1 crore.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. I hope everyone is done. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, basically, why did the government promote small scale industry? So the reason is the small scale industry are more labor intensive. Labor intensive means, for example, you already know labor intensive and capital intensive. Who is going to tell me? You know this labor intensive and capital intensive? So sorry. Basically, this was in your 11th class. So I hope you people are aware.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So labor intensive is basically when you will use more of labor and less of capital, means you are using more people and less machines. But and capital intensive is basically when you are using more machines and less labor. Okay. So basically what happens when you start a small scale industry, that industry is always a labor intensive. That means you are going to use more of labor. So if you will use more of labor, then what will happen? Automatically you will generate employment. That's why government wanted to promote small scale industry, because the main motive was to give employment to people. Okay. So why did the government promote small scale industry? The reason is that small scale industry are more labor intensive. They use more of labor than the large scale industry and therefore generate income. So you are going to write, why did government promote the small scale industry? So you'll write, the small scale industry are more labor intensive, therefore they generate more employment. Okay. So you'll write, why did government promote small scale industry? Then you'll write, the small scale industry are more labor intensive than large scale industries. Okay. More labor intensive than large scale industries, and therefore they generate more employment.
Done, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
Okay. I hope everyone is done. Yes.
Done.
How did the government promote and protect small scale industry? So how? Of course, we know the purpose. We know what is small scale industry. We know the purpose, but how government will promote and protect them? So basically, small scale industry cannot compete with big industrial firm. This is very sure. Okay, but that's why government need to protect them and as well as promote them, because of course people always go for large scale industry, or you can say big industries, right? So how? So the production of number of product were reserved for the small scale industry. The criteria of reservation was ability of these units to be manufactured the good. Second, they were also given concessions such as lower excise duty, bank loans, and lower interest rate. So how they were protecting it? First point is how they are protecting it, and second, how government is going to promote it. How government protect it? For example, I have, for example, this is a bed, this is a pen, this is paper. These are the three products which I need to produce. So what I will do as a government, I will reserve it that bed only small scale industry people will be producing. Okay, so what I am doing, I am reserving the product for the small scale industry, because if only small scale industry will produce bed, then people will be purchasing beds from only small scale industry, not from the big industries. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I hope it's clear with everyone. No?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay. So, and second, for example, see, every industry need to pay tax and all that. And of course, if I need investment, I need to take loans. So if I'm a small scale industry, then lower excise duty means tax duty will be lower. Like I have to pay low tax, plus easily I can get loans at a lower interest. So you will write hashtag, how did government promote and protect small scale industry? First, the production of number of products were reserved for the small scale industry. Okay, that the number of product that, okay, they will be producing this product like bed, maybe chair, whatever it is. And second, They were also given concession. Concession means like a subsidy or a relaxation, such as lower exercise duty and bank loans at low interest rate. Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, done. You can leave. Okay.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, Kushi, you can also leave. Bye bye.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Bye.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, Amos, you can also leave.
Okay,
Bye bye.
ma'am.
Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.
Done, ma'am.
Okay, Adib, you can also leave. Bye bye. Mariam, you can also leave. Bye bye.
Ma'am, it was me, Ayan.
Okay, okay. Okay, Ayan, then you can also leave.
Okay,
Bye
ma'am.
bye.
Thank you.